to be caught each time by the Phillies. 7 homers in 10 innings, but it was a fielder's choice that played to the game-winning run in the 11th. Tonight's story begins with Stephen Strasburg looking to author a 3rd straight win for the Nats. Quite a ball game, quite a marathon here last night. The Nats got it in extra innings. They're now 7-2, a Washington best in extra innings. Now, are those old Philadelphia shirts? I don't think so. Guys, following Jason Worth, yeah, that's the old Nationals logo. And the guys are here to support a man who is really hot right now. During the course of a season, different offensive guys will carry the ball club at different times. Right now, it's Anthony Rendon leading off and Jason Worth cleaning up.
Yeah, Jason Worth, a 2-home run night last night. It was just fantastic the way he set up this young 22-year-old pitcher. You remember his first time up, he had a check swing on this very pitch that went back to the pitcher, Nola. Next time up in the 5th inning, he goes deep on the very same pitch. That's a grand slam. That put him up 6-2 in the 5th inning. Then the 10th inning, this one just cured a 3-1 fastball right down the middle. Hit 434 feet to left field. That put him up by 1 in the 10th. So Jason Worth with his 12th multi-home run game last night.
Yeah, 23 consecutive ball games on base. 313 his last 15 ball games. And when he hits a home run, the Nats are unbeaten. So hopefully that good offense continues, and you couple that with Stephen Strasburg. The Nats needed him to come up big last time out. He did against the Mets, and now he's going to try to make it 2 in a row in a ballpark where he has pitched very well.
Yeah, likes to pitch here, likes to pitch against the Phillies, likes to pitch period right now. 13 strikeout performance against the Mets last time, and remember, it was all about the curveball from Stephen Strasburg, the best we've ever seen it. He threw it for strikes when he wanted to, he threw it for balls when he needed to. It was a dominant pitch. It was all off the fastball command. Didn't throw the changeup very much at all, so we'll keep an eye on that awesome Stephen Strasburg curveball here tonight.
Yeah, a lot of guys don't like pitching at the bank, but for Strasburg it has not been a problem. Overall, last 11 starts against the Phillies, he's won 6 of 7 decisions. The ERA is just over 1.7. The strikeouts have been there, and he has fanned a lot of batters in recent outings. Months ago, the Philadelphia fanatic, the Philly fanatic, able to drive his four-wheeler off the field, but it was in doubt for a while The Nats have played more pranks on him over the years than anybody else. Oops. Somebody nicking the keys right there.
Bryce snagging the Fanatics keys. Fanatics freaking out. He can't find them. Matt Thornton has them. He hands them to a security guard. They're passing the keys around. The Fanatics finally getting to the bottom of it. Boys having a little fun with the mascot before the game, and he figured out who did it finally, and he let him have it.
That Bryce Harper.
Well, we have to keep an eye on that tonight. We'll see what the Fanatic has in store for Bryce when he comes up to the plate.
Humidity down to 32%. It is 79 at game time tonight. Beautiful evening in Philadelphia. The Nats are third in the league in runs. They are fifth in home runs. They'll be facing David Buchanan tonight. Anthony Rendon, this season 17 multi-hit games, and most of them lately. He leads that offense with Escobar and Harper right behind him, and then the red-hot Jason Worth. So the Nats face Buchanan, who is 2-8 on the year with a 9.11 ERA.
I see the arsenal for David Buchanan. Fastball 90, he'll two-seam it. Slider, cutter, curve change to complement it. Last start on the 9th against the Braves, 8-1 last. His last just 3 1/3, gave up 4 runs on 10 hits in those 3 1/3 innings. So look for the Nats to be aggressive real early on the Buchanan fastball.
And not much success career against the Nats. 2 starts, 0-2 with an 8.18. So here's Anthony Rendon. Big night last night. 4 for 6, a homer, 3 singles. First pitch ambush 24 hours ago. And we're underway at 7:06 with ball 1. Called by the 9-year veteran Todd Titchener behind the plate. Chris Siegel, first base. Mike Everett at second. The crew chief, Tim Welke. There he is at third. On the edge, 1-1. And the breaking ball rolls low and away. Long for STG to get involved. Leadoff homers this season. The Nats topping the big leagues with the Twins with 8, and Rendon has certainly done his share. This one off the end of the bat, high in the air, over by the barrier, and as he pursued it, Darren Ruff lost that ball.
Couldn't see it at all, right? Saw him put his hands in the air, had no idea where it was.
So here we are, middle of September, and twilight time is arriving at game time. Here's what Anthony did last night.
First pitch of the game, Rendon ready to play. And he drove it out of here to give the Nats a 1-0 lead. He go on to have 4 hits, 3 more singles added to that home run.
2-2 pitch. Waited for the breaking ball, bounced up the middle to Freddie Galvis. Low throw, first down.
We'll set the defense for the Phillies behind Buchanan. Sweeney, Herrera, Bogasevic, the outfield. Galvis, Ashe left side. Blanco, Ruff right side. Carlos Ruiz, our old friend Carlos Ruiz behind the play. There he is.
Yeah, he's had 6 career hits and a home run against Steven Strasburg. Mutual greeting there with Yunel Escobar, who had another good ball game last night. 2 hits or more in a game for the 45th time this year. 5th most in the league, and Bryce Harper's done it an identical number of times. Escobar, one of the few Nats facing this righty for the first time. And that one off the end of the bat. Out in right field, Brian Bogasevic has it. 2 outs, and here's Harper, who drilled one that left this yard in a hurry last night. Oh yeah, on base 3 more times. 2 outs, 3rd inning when he did this.
Yeah, second at bat for Bryce Harper last night. Home run number 37. Maybe we can make a highlight reel with all 37 home runs in a row.
Whoa!
Oh, hey.
And Buchanan holding on way too long. Not sure how it missed Bryce.
Every time he gets thrown at or it's near him, you're wondering, right? You always wonder with Bryce Harper, was that a purpose pitch? And that was behind Bryce Harper. You could say that was a ball outside his body on the other side.
2-0. Harper against Buchanan, 0 for 1 career with 2 walks. He was all in for a heater, and he reacted to an off-speed pitch, and that ball is gone. That's about 15 feet above the 409 mark. Where that wall is out there is 13 feet 3 inches tall, and Bryce Harper just went right over it.
MVP.
Number 38.
I'll tell you what, whether he was thrown out or not on the first pitch, if he thought so, that's how you answer it. And boy, did he stand at home plate and admire this one. I don't think I've seen Bryce Harper stand at home plate on a home run any longer than he just did. So that tells me alone that he thought there was purpose behind the first pitch. I mean, he didn't move. He just sat there and watched it for a good 4, 5, 6 seconds before he started taking off. And like you said, Carp, to the deepest part of this ballpark, that ball was crushed. There goes the no-hitter on Bryce Harper's 38th home run of the year. Wow.
Yeah, deepest part of the park and the highest part of the wall. Here's Jason Worth. And Ruiz can't reach that fastball.
Yeah, I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but the most important thing was what Bryce Harper thought. And if he thought that was on purpose, I think that's why he stood up and watched that ball a little longer than he normally does. And maybe he should steal some more keys.
Just borrowing them. They got him back.
Just took him for a joyride.
2-0 pitch. And no player could do that. Our manager would be happy with that if you did go for a joyride on a four-wheeler right before a game. Next best thing, get a hold of the keys. Good 2-0 off-speed pitch by David Buchanan, who just gave up his 9th home run in 53 innings.
I mean, he's 22 years old. If he wins the MVP this year, how many can he win?
Good question.
You start winning MVPs and you're in your early 20s. Can you go double digits? First things first.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Got a little carried away. Happens from time to time, like every night. Check out a swing one more time. We just showed you home run number 37, and there's home run number 38. Oh, click. Did you hear the click?
Right above the yellow line there. Almost took out a couple of power boxes out there. Now it's 2-2 to Worth with 2 outs. And he will go the other way. Ball in the air for a while. Bogusevic pursuing, and it's into the second row.
Boy, I can't see it. I could see what Darren Ruff was looking at earlier. That ball just got lost in the sky. Beautiful sunset.
Days are getting shorter.
So is the season.
18 games after tonight. And on a big breaking ball to dirt, Jason Worth can't get it. And that'll do it for the Nats in the top of the first. But again tonight, they get a solo home run, and Bryce Harper just absolutely crushes one. RBI number 87. The Nats on the board. Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by visitannapolis.org. Find the Chesapeake experience at visitannapolis.org. Beautiful Pennsylvania sky on this Tuesday night. And Bryce Harper has skied one out of here to put the Nats on top. Steven Strasburg will go to work against the Phillies, 13th in the league in runs and in home runs. And he's 6-2 career against them. Freddie Galvis got his home run last night, 7th of the year against Jonathan Papelbon to extend that ball game. Nats able to take care of business from there. So they got Sweeney up on the leadoff spot tonight. Darren Ruff is in the lineup at first, and Carlos Ruiz.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on the breaking ball tonight. If you remember his last start, he struck out 13 Mets. That was on the 9th, 7 1/3, gave up 3 runs, walked 1 Met, 103 pitches, and it was all about the curveball, and then the curveball.
24-year-old rookie Darnell Sweeney came over in the Chase Utley deal from the Dodgers. He was 1 for 3 with a walk and an RBI single last night before they double switched him out of the game. Strasburg with 96 to get to 0-2.
Late, very late on that swing. 96, 97, right out of bed. There it is.
Well, no reaction by the hitter there. His breaking stuff has been outstanding to go with the heater.
So on the season, he's thrown this curveball you're looking at 23% of the time. Last start, he threw it 34% of the time. And he picked up right where he left off against the Mets with the curveball command. And so all Darnell Sweeney can do is take a look at it and tell his friends in the dugout how good it was.
Here's Freddie Galvis. Lays off the high fastball. Escobar in close at third. Galvis from the left side, 253 overall, 268. And against Strasburg, career 2 for 9 with an RBI and a base on balls. 2-0. Tim Welke on the appeal, no swing. And a 4-pitch walk right after the strikeout.
So the defense for the Nats behind Steven Strasburg. Worth, Taylor, Harper the outfield, Desmond Escobar left side, Rendon Robinson right side, Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
Odubel Herrera, center fielder. In an otherwise lost season for the Phillies, he emerges as one of their success stories. Rule 5 pickup from Texas last December, and he's hitting just 2 clicks under 300.
Kind of getting back to our discussion last night, I think Herrera is a guy that will start next year for the Phillies no matter who they go out and get. He's proven to everybody here that he's an everyday guy. And Steven Strasburg's lost his release point all of a sudden. A little bit quick, arms trailing. He's missing up and away to lefties. Try to get him back into it with a curveball right here. Slow him down. It's a good idea.
And he got the hook in there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So this was the story last start. Curveball for a strike early, curveball for a ball late. Hitters have to commit. That's how he had the 13 punch outs.
Yeah, giving him 48 in his last 6 starts, coming in 2 tonight. Another hitter with another late swing.
That's what's coming out. And this is where you can expand the zone with the curveball. I think maybe he's going to step off here. I think that's what that sign was from Wilson. Let's see. Now you try to throw the curveball for a ball. Make it look like a strike. Bounce it. See if he chases.
Freddie Galvis 9 for 10 stealing. We'll see if he reads a breaking ball, if it's in the dirt, and decides to do anything. Time given.
Put curveball down.
One, two on the count. Runner holding. And the breaking ball is low and away. Things have really come to a stop here. Desmond and Rendon know they'll have to hurry on a ground ball. We'll see when that happens. Nats have won 9 out of 14 against the Phils this year. 4-3 here. And that was very late. 2 down, strikeout number 2. It's a no contact first inning so far.
Went with the express off of the curveball, and Herrera, a guy that will fight you with 2 strikes, just laid on the overpowering fastball from Steven Strasburg. You see the emergency hack. He tried to foul it off. That tells me he was thinking about the curveball. That's something you definitely can't do against a guy that throws 97.
Here's Andres Blanco getting the start tonight at second base.
Galvis 9 stolen bases, been caught once.
Gator checked the swing, but it was a called strike anyway. Blanco 0 for 1 against Strasburg career. Steven, by the way, 5 career starts in this ballpark at a 1.55 ERA.
Somebody get me how many times Andres Blanco has hit 4th.
Ever? Yeah, Ryan Howard evidently still that achy knee after what happened to him last night against a right-hander not in the lineup tonight.
Well, I know where Pete McCann got that from. Felipe Alou. He used to put all the speed guys 1, 2, 3, 4, and he wanted his fastest guys on base, and he would put his RBI guys 5 and 6.
And unfortunately for the Phillies, that ball fouled off. Galvis came creeping off. He was way off the bag and then made his move towards second, had that bag swiped.
Well, you never want to go to 2 strikes as a hitter, especially against Steven Strasburg. When you see, or if you can see, a guy get a jump like this, watch the jump by Freddie Galvis. You have to take that pitch. I mean, he's going to be standing on second. You have a chance to drive in a run with 2 strikes and 2 outs. Now, you're in the same situation. You could make the argument that was even a ball he just swung at. It'd be a 1-1 count, but that's just awareness of the situation. Hard to see as a left-hander, but you can feel if a guy gets a good jump out of the corner of your eye if you're left-handed.
Tenth career at bat. Cleanup, we are told, by Andres Blanco.
Well, that could be pinch hit too, or a double switch. You never know.
Could be.
I guarantee you he hasn't started too many games hitting 4th. Kind of like that out of the box thinking by Pete McCann.
Blanco 5 home runs this year, more than the total of parts of 7 years in the big leagues with Kansas City, the Cubs, the Rangers, and the Phillies. 0-2 pitch. Big breaking ball. It's up the middle. Desmond to get it. Spins and fires. And he makes a tough play look pretty smooth. So a runner stranded on the Harper homer. The Nats lead early.
A little contrail, a jet. That's pretty cool, too. Come up to Nats Park on Friday, September 25th. Nats take on the Phillies, 7:05 start. You get a J-Zip bobblehead. That's the no-hitter bobblehead presented by Geico. First 25,000 fans will get that when you walk through the gates. Visit Nationals.com to purchase your tickets right now.
Top of the second, and the leadoff guy, Clint Robinson.
That's not the bobblehead. That's Jordan.
That's the real thing. 6 runs, 7 hits in 6 innings, 8 strikeouts last night. And then Jonathan Papelbon. This baseball can be a very strange game. Ends up getting the win. Pitcher of record when the Nats went on top. And Robinson will pull it to the right side for Andres Blanco. Ian Desmond, Wilson Ramos, the next 2.
All right, you know the drill. Time to tweet your strongest fan photo using hashtag NatsCouchGam, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by T-Mobile. All right, it's a little man eating the rail. Careful, buddy. You don't know where that rail's been.
That's a busted bat to the left side. Galvis had to lay back on it, and he gets Ian Desmond by a step. 2 quick outs on the ground for David Buchanan. Ramos next. Phillies are averaging this year 24,202 per game. About 20,000 fewer than they used to. And the only ball club lower in average attendance, the Miami Marlins this year. The bank opened up in 04, and by 07 the Phillies were going to the playoffs just about every year. That ball fades inside on Wilson Ramos, who comes in with 14 RBIs his last 21 games. Taking him up to 63 in a hurry. Two 2-0.
He's got all kinds of protection on that left leg foot. He's got a small walking boot going there. Fouls a lot of balls off his foot, obviously.
Ramos up the middle. Had a second inning base hit last night. And he's aboard to get Michael A. Taylor to the plate here in the second.
This place is hitter's paradise. The ball flies here. The infield is grass, but it plays like AstroTurf. There's no faster infield in the National League. So, I mean, you hit pop-ups to go for homers. You hit ground balls to get through. Who wouldn't want to play here as an offensive player? Yeah. Sign me up.
And I'm just wondering, with a really, really young pitching staff now, would the Phillies consider maybe slowing down that infield a little bit?
Maybe.
No infield's going to slow that down. Ramos around second. He's going to keep on going, and the throw into third is cut off. Wilson Ramos, with the play right in front of him, goes first to third, and Steven Strasburg has a chance to do some more damage here.
Well, that was basically a stampede. And once a stampede starts, you really can't stop it. I mean, he got rolling into second base. He was thinking about stopping, but then he said, I'm a Buffalo, and I have no brakes. Watch. You like the hustle by Wilson Ramos. Even on the ball hit that hard with 2 outs, Ramos playing hard. He gets to third, and see if Steven Strasburg can help himself out.
3 for 29 this year without a run batted in. 13 for his career. Counts even 1-1. So Strasburg is trying to get his first hit of the year against a team not named Colorado. At Nationals Park, 6-1 win August 8th. He went 3 for 3. Gets jammed there. Stays alive.
See, this would be a great place or a great position in the game if you had a fast runner at third for your runner at first just to take off. And see if you can cause mayhem on defense and steal a run with your pitcher hitting. I mean, you talk about aggressive baseball and kind of thinking out of the box. If you had speed at third, it would be the perfect time to try something like that. Who cares if Strasburg leads off the third? You might steal a run out of it. The odds of your pitcher getting a hit are probably less with 2 strikes than stealing a run. But you really can't try it with Wilson Ramos at third because he doesn't run.
Here's the Nissan pitch track for the entire at bat here. Pretty good battle, 1-2. Phillies think that Michael A. Taylor might be running.
Well, Pete McCann thinking about that probably.
He's 15 for 18. That ball hangs up and in, 2-2.
Strasburg was ready to wear that. Did you see? He was not getting out of the way. Almost rolled into it. Check it out. Didn't move. I like it.
And that one breaks right out over the plate. So the Nats get a pair of 2-out hits. They go 3 for 9 first time through. 1-0 Washington.
2.5 weeks left in the 2015 season, but after last night's extra inning win, Jason Worth took an honest, big-picture look at where both he and this Nationals ball club are at here midway through September. From a personal sense, Jason talked about not being able to stay healthy this year. From a team sense, where the Nationals are at in the standings, he said, I think about it this year as opportunity lost. He said we had a lot going for us, and yeah, the season isn't over, but you get the sense that we let this one kind of slip through our fingers a little bit. Jason said, I don't know what will happen next year, but there's a good chance the team will look a lot different based on all the free agents that the Nationals have coming up. He said, as a team, you want to make the most of your opportunities. We didn't do that, and that's tough for us to swallow.
Yeah, well said by Jason. Nats hanging by a thread. Mets 1-0, second inning at home over the Marlins. And that was our Coons.com sideline report with Dan. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. First pitch, bottom of the second, Cody Ashe fouls it straight back.
Well, if you remember in our first broadcast in spring training, I said it was going to be a dogfight this year. I thought it was going to be the Marlins, Mets, and Nats, and everybody anointing the Nats NL East champs before they played a game. Most dangerous thing as a player is believing that. Because then you come out and you think, oh, this division is not that tough. And the next thing you know, you're trying to pick yourself up and get going and rev up, and you can't. There's a lot of injuries, a lot of different reasons why, but like I always say, nobody cares.
Yeah, there's a lesson to be learned about those who watch baseball and some who cover baseball. Don't trust anybody who says to you in spring training, this thing's over.
It's over. It's a weak division.
Yeah.
The Nats have
Don't believe it. Don't buy it.
It's a runaway. And I said, no shot.
2-2 pitch and another good curveball by Steven Strasburg. You know, it's just like the guy who came up to me last week before the New York series said the Mets are toast.
Yeah, well, who's that guy and what does he do? And did he ever play?
Can't comment, and no. The answer to the third question is no. And a pickup there by Clint Robinson for the first out. So Steven Strasburg, a couple of ground balls after the Phillies struck out in the first twice.
Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one. And don't miss Bryce Harper's next at bat, by the way. It could be interesting. Look forward to Miller Time later tonight's game. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. Who knows if that ball was thrown at him on purpose? He did watch the home run, so stay tuned. You never know. I mean, they're going to be stirring the pot, being all dramatic up here.
No, you're pretty good about predicting extracurricular activities. Here's Darren Rupp, the first baseman, hitting .240. And a fastball is upstairs. Rupp is 0 for 3 career against Steven Strasburg. This year, 7 home runs, 27 batted in. Big, strong right-handed hitter. And that's a foul tip on a mid-90s heater.
I understand Yoenis Cespedes got drilled tonight by Tom Kohler. So it's going around. I mean, it was only a matter of time before somebody had to make that guy a little bit uncomfortable in the batter's box.
Yeah. That's a great front door breaking ball right to the inside edge. Well, anytime you can get a hitter's feet moving around, that's a big thing. You're just a little suspicious when you see a major league pitcher throw a ball behind a batter. That ball is skied way out and way up the center. And fortunately on that one, it is no longer twilight time in Philly. Michael A. Taylor, no problem. Brian Bogusevic now with 2 outs.
And making one uncomfortable at the plate doesn't mean you drill him.
Right.
It's just so many hitters are just back-legging and so comfortable up there. Big old softball swings all the time. And you just don't see it in today's game where someone buzzes the tower, knocks him down. It just doesn't happen. But that little ounce of fear doesn't let you stay in there as long as you normally would.
Reaching for a ball away. Ian Desmond has it. Quick down to first, Bogusevic, and he is out by closer than a step. Good play by Ian Desmond. good 2 innings by Steven Strasburg. A couple of strikeouts, 3 ground balls, and a fly ball. Former Nat Justin Maxwell hit his 3rd grand slam. All 4 runs in a win at Atlanta. Only the 2nd player in MLB history to hit 3 slams in his first 4 plate appearances with the bases loaded.
Look at the beast with no hair and no beard. That's what I'm looking at. Mikey Mo.
Justin Maxwell, this moment in history brought to you by University of Maryland, University College. And take off the last 2 words, and that's where J. Max went, University of Maryland.
He didn't go to the University College?
I'm not sure it was. I don't think they were advertising on our air at that time, so I'm not sure what their year of establishment was.
If you go to University College, you have to be smart when you graduate, because that's 2 universities and a college in the name of your school.
And the other thing is, that's a really big letter jacket.
Yeah, it is.
Right in there. Top of the 3rd, it's Anthony Rendon. Good fastball to the ceiling of the strike zone. In on him. Ground ball to short first time.
Buchanan has a decent changeup going tonight. If he can throw it for a strike, you don't have to respect it as a hitter until you see it in the zone. And the reason I say it's decent, it's got good arm action, it's got good movement. He just hasn't really thrown it for a strike consistently.
Rendon, and there's the 83 off speed. Strikeout number 3.
Whatever that was backed up, could have been the slider at 83 and just backed up. It also could have been the changeup. I'm going to go with slider.
Escobar, fly ball to right first time.
That's a changer.
Yeah, that went up, but a strike. Escobar sits safely 14 of his last 15 games. Right around 430 over that time. Bryce Harper 1 hit ahead of him. Bryce with 155. Top 8 in the league. And Bryce also collected his 73rd extra base hit. Escobar rams this one to right center. That'll two-hop the scoreboard, get him to second base. So now he's even with Harper, 155 base hits on a ball hit beautifully the other way.
Well, that gives the Phillies a chance with first base open to pitch around Bryce Harper. But in case you missed it, you're joining us late. First pitch to Bryce Harper tonight, I don't know what it meant. The only thing is Bryce thought it was on purpose. You see the look? And what does he do later? Sits on a curveball, drills it out to the deepest part of the yard, and puts his ball club up 1-0. So I guess stay tuned. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what he did last night to incite that, but let's see what happens right here.
First pitch changeup.
The only thing about pitching around here, you got a guy in deck that hit 2 home runs last night.
Yeah. And Escobar, a little drop of the shoulder toward third, and resulting in a David Buchanan step off. Jason Worth saw a steady diet of off-speed stuff his first time up tonight. And that's the 91 heater in there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I used to tell my teammates, bro, don't jump around at second base unless you're going to steal third. If you're going to steal third, go ahead. I get it. I'll take a pitch for you. But if you're going to dance around behind me while I'm hitting, it's going to distract me. And you'll hear that from time to time, hitters talking to base runners.
One nothing Nats because of Bryce Harper. Hitters count. And that is right up the middle. Escobar coming around. Bob Henley will send him. And the throw, no chance. Harper rounds first and goes back. And Bryce is 2 for 2 and 88 RBIs.
He just looks so relaxed at the plate. So calm, and you see the focus. That shot we just gave you of his eyes, he's just totally locked in, and we've seen that the majority of this year, but tonight it looks like it's at a different level. Home run first time, base it up the middle second time. You see Bob Henley sending Yunel Escobar 2-0 Nats, and Bryce Harper is not even close to being finished tonight.
Second time tonight already. The Nats have put hits back to back. Ramos and Taylor last inning singles after 2 outs. And after 1 out, Escobar double, Harper single. Here comes Worth. And that ball bounced into the glove of Darren Ruff.
But you see how this whole thing works? The only reason Bryce Harper got a pitch to hit is because of what Jason Worth did last night.
Yeah.
If Jason Worth is struggling, Bryce Harper's walked 4 right there. I mean, nothing near the zone. He's standing out first. But grand slam, home run on the 10th. You got to pitch to him or pitch-ish to him, and they did, and he took advantage.
STG with Jason Worth numbers on base streaks active right now. I mean, look at Edwin Encarnacion. Joe Mauer, big second half. Joey Votto, a big second half for the Reds. And Worth hits one hard to short. Freddie Galvis, nice backhand, and they turn that into a 6-4-3 double play. The Nats right now hitting the ball hard off David Buchanan, 2-0. to the bottom of the third. Carlos Ruiz, David Buchanan, Darnell Sweeney. 18 strikes, 29 pitches total for Steven Strasburg so far. And he jams the Phillies catcher. That one straight back. Not in the air very long, and Wilson Ramos got back in good fashion. Lost the equipment, made the grab.
Celebrate U.S. Air Force Day. That's delivered by UPS September 18th. Nats take on the Fish, 7:05 start. United States Air Force Honor Guard color team will present our nation's colors. Members of the Air Force Band will perform our national anthem and God Bless America. Visit nationals.com to purchase your tickets today. That's one of those Zim's faces that you know
he's up to something.
Yeah.
David Buchanan 2 for 15 with an RBI. Career 5 for 45. And a good fastball right to the inner half. And on a breaking ball, no chance, but a good block by Wilson Ramos to keep that ball from going back to the screen. First time through, the Phillies go 0 for 8 with a walk, and $37 more now, 3 times tonight. From the Washington area Toyota dealers, helping children and their families with that donation to the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher. Toyota K's for kids. Top of the order, the rookie Darnell Sweeney.
Lead on the fastball first time up.
Hook stays outside. By the way, folks, if you missed it today, the Pittsburgh Pirates beat the Cubs. Pittsburgh is 2 games out of first place in the Central. 1 ball, 1 strike. Won 4 straight.
My care factor on pennant race baseball right now is at an all-time low.
I know, but come on, you got to be a fan.
Seriously.
Gonna motivate you here.
Thanks. Keep me updated.
Okay.
I mean, I can't watch MLB Network because it's all they do is crush the Nats every day. So, I mean, I'm just not watching.
Did I tell you Boston and Baltimore are scoreless in the third?
No. There's games on?
Yeah.
If there's other games being played? No.
That's what that scoreboard thing's for out there. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Darnell Sweeney. Strasburg got him looking first time up. That's right down the middle. Todd Titchener thought about it for an instant, punched him out, and Steven Strasburg gives up only 1 walk in the first 3 innings. David Robinson. And a breaking ball outside from David Buchanan. 48 pitches, 29 strikes. Gets it back in a hurry and delivers, and Robinson hits it about 380 to center field, and Herrera there for the grab.
Oh, wait, I need to read this to myself. Keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every there's auto-market games live on over 400 supported devices, real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV right now. Okay. Quit yelling at me.
We usually do that one like the 7th or 8th inning, but we bumped it up tonight because of what you said.
No.
That's on the edge. Ian Desmond bounced out to his counterpart, Freddie Galvis, the shortstop, first time. Hits it harder over there, and Galvis to his left scoops it up. 2 down. He engineered that 6-4-3 on the Jason Worth rocket last inning, and now it's Wilson Ramos. Just like the first time, 2 outs, nobody on. He singled. So did Taylor. But the Nats failed to score in that 2nd inning. So he'll try to keep Buchanan from getting a 1-2-3 for the first time. By the way, that New York game is Tom Kohler, who FP mentioned earlier, hit Yoenis Cespedes. Jacob deGrom going for the Mets, who lead 1-0. 3rd inning. And Ramos hits one straight up. Freddie Galvis comes scampering in to get under it. And that is it for the Nats. They go in order for the first time tonight. Strasburg back to work. And the Nats will send these 6: Dakota Backus, right-hander; Nick Lee, a lefty; John Sims, catcher Spencer Keyboom. We checked in with him before in our PNC minor league report. And of course, Wilmer Defoe is going, as well as Drew Ward, who's only 20 years of age. That's PNC Bank for the Achiever in you for the Salt River Rafters.
Trip Keister is going to be the manager.
Cool.
Man, he's going to be a big league manager someday. He gets it. Does a nice job with the Peanuts.
Freddie Galvis against Strasburg, looking to bunt on an 0-1 count. Just into the 8 o'clock hour here at Citizens Bank Park. Underway less than an hour ago, bottom of the 4th inning. The Nats have 2 runs on 5 hits. 0-0-0 with a walk for the Phillies. Dan downstairs, Bob and FP up here. Watching Strasburg pitch very well to start this one.
Let me show you how much things have changed here at the bank. Dan's not even getting booed in the middle of his reports anymore. He used to stand up down there in the well and just get booed.
Yeah.
Now they're just like, "Hi, Dan, can we get you some ice cream?" It's totally changed.
He might be one who was in on that 4-wheeler thing with Bryce Harper.
Maybe.
Have that investigated. 0-2 pitch, although we do have video. We have surveillance cameras that caught Harper red-handed, so to speak. 1 out. Speaking of Dan, he's going to jump into the show here, buddy.
Bob, I claim full innocence with the fanatic antics earlier. Steven Strasburg this year, it's been a tough go for him with the injuries, all that he's suffered going back to spring training. I asked Matt Williams whether he's learned anything about Strasburg over the course of this year. Matt said, seems like every time Strasburg tried to get over the hump, he just couldn't in terms of the injuries, but he's persevered and he's gotten back to where he wants to be. Matt said you always go into every year thinking you'll be healthy the entire season, but it doesn't always work out like that. It's what you do when things go a little sideways and how you battle through that shows something. And Matt says, I think he's done a really nice job of that this year.
Well, when he's been healthy, the ball is coming out of his hand very well. Seven and a third, 3 runs on 5 hits against the Mets last week. And another tardy swing, this time Odubel Herrera. With 1 out, 4th inning, Nissan will track it.
A little high cheese, 97, and that's the pitch he struck him out on first time up. That fastball away. Probably stay out there.
He does with the 0-2 heater.
Stay somewhere until they show you that they can handle that pitch.
First 3 innings, 38 pitches, 25 strikes. Right by him with 97 for strikeout number 5.
Yeah, there's no need to throw a changeup. There's no need to throw a curveball and speed up his bat. If you see a guy tardy on your heater, especially the heater up and away, you stay there until they show you they can handle it or lay off it. That might have been the top of the strike zone, but Odubel Herrera, a guy that usually fights you and is a tough out, is having trouble, as a lot of hitters would, with that 97 from Steven Strasburg.
Blanco got her on late, hit one to Ian Desmond on the ground first time. And then he pulls out the changeup, 89, diving severely away from the left-handed hitter. Off speed again. He throws a fastball now to look like 100.
I'll triple up on the changeup. He's showing me he can't see it, not picking it up. Same way for Herrera. Show him it till he changes. It was another changeup.
Yeah, literally threw the bat at the ball. Bat got around late. The ball got pulled. STG inside the numbers. Only Travis Wood of the Cubs, minimum 5 starts, a lower opponent ERA here at Philadelphia. And Aaron Nola, the rookie, he's done well his first year here. The Nats got to him last night with some home run balls. Oh, 2. Yeah, I was kind of a little surprised to see the name of Jair Jurgens down there. Had the MLB logo next to his name. Not in the big leagues anymore, but it's a guy we used to see a lot of. 1-2 pitch. Upstairs with the heat.
Shall I say same seats, everyone? Why not? Same seats.
First pitch, top of the 5th inning. Michael A. Taylor gets around early on a curveball and fouls it. Base hit right out to center. Clean single, first time up. And a chopper, having to reach for it, Cody Ashe, and must have hit Michael in the foot on the way, ruled a foul ball.
Let's see what you got. Oh, yeah, definitely hit him on the foot. Not so much. Did it? I didn't see it hit him on the foot. That's a fine acting job.
So if he knows how to sell that this early in his career,
yeah, that's pretty.
He'll buy a few more ABs. If that didn't hit him, and an off-speed pitch gets him. First out, 5th inning. Strikeout number 4 for Buchanan.
There's bobbleheads everywhere tonight. Calvin Coolidge is coming to town, folks. First 25,000 fans on September 21st. O's in town, 7:05 start. You get one of those bobbleheads. It's courtesy of the White House Historical Association. Visit nationals.com to purchase your tickets today.
Strasburg, a taken strike 3, first time up. Had a couple of guys on board back in the 2nd. And a big hack. Buchanan pumping strikes. It's 0-2. Marlins have scored in the 4th inning, 1-1 at New York. Got him. Strikeout number 5. Strasburg goes and gets a breather. Next 5 ball games, one of them here, Adam Morgan for the Phils, and Gio goes for the Nats tomorrow night. Then it's home for 4 with the Fish. Night games Thursday and Friday. 4 o'clock game Saturday because of Faith Day afterwards. And then the 1:30 series finale against the Fish on Sunday. Then the Orioles are in for 3.
The Miami-Delphia Marlins. That's the only teams they play the rest of the year.
Seems like it.
Inter-squads. Seems like spring training.
In fact, the Fish just scored another run.
They're getting along good. Well,
one hopper. Bob Henley picks it off.
Gooder. Fastball up.
Buchanan had a 1-2-3-4 on just 6 pitches. Trying to retire his 7th consecutive batter since the Harbor RBI hit. And Rendon will hit it hard the other way. Going back, Bogusevic. So Buchanan's on a roll. Halfway through the ball game. Now Strasburg, inning number 5.
has an exploding fastball tonight, an unbelievable curveball, and a great changeup. Other than that, he's really struggling out there with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts so far. And the only base runner, Freddie Galvis, walked in the first inning.
He has struck out 4 of the last 5 Phillies. Cody Ashe leads off, bottom 5. Ashe hit a slow roller to Clint Robinson first time up. And he sees the first pitch changeup. 2-0 Nats on a pair of RBIs by Bryce Harper, who now has 88. That is a wicked changeup. 1-1. Going more to the off speed here, second time through the order.
This is disgusting. Watch. Wow. It's unfair. And then painting 96.
So right now we're talking about a 15 to 16 mile an hour difference between the fastball and the change.
Yeah, but he's locating the fastball and the change is moving. The difference in speed is a factor, but not as much as the movement on both pitches. Fastball up and away.
3-1 Marlins at New York now. Ashe, Ruff, and Bogusevic 5, 6, 7 for the Phillies in the 5th inning. Here's the entire AB from Mercedes.
It just shows where all those pitches end up. It doesn't show where they started. It's definitely not the same place.
And a breaking ball ripped into right. Phillies have their first base hit.
We said last start against the Mets, if you were fouling off the Steven Strasburg curveball, you were doing something right. And then Cody Ashe does a nice job with 2 strikes, staying on that, drilling it to right field for the first knock of the night for the Phils. Nice piece of hitting.
Big power guy with a big swing and big time late. Rough fly ball really high, kind of short into center first time up.
Actually, he's had the best swing tonight. He just missed that.
There's a good curveball.
Watch his front shoulder and watch how he takes this pitch. Just watch the hitter, don't watch the pitch. See it fly open? That's telling anybody that's watching he's looking for the fastball and he's looking for it in. He was starting to swing early. The shoulder flew open. That's called a leak. And it tells you what a hitter's thinking. So you can gather a lot of information, a lot of recon on how a hitter takes a pitch, even if he doesn't swing. I told you everything you need to know if you're Steven Strasburg. He's looking for the fastball. He's looking for it in. That's why his shoulder left so early.
One and two. And a right-handed batter with little chance of reaching that. First base occupied, no need for a tag or a throw, and strikeout number 7, 1 out, 5th inning.
And that's what you do when you see a guy that's leaking with the front shoulder. If you look at the replay, Ruff's first move is with the front shoulder. It's wide open. He told him on the take that he's looking for one pitch in one spot. If Strasburg throws a fastball on the inner half to him right there based on that take, he might run into it, and it might be a 2-2 ball game. But by the fact that you watch how a guy takes a pitch, you throw him the curveball, he has no chance because his front side was way flying open.
Brian Bogusevic, he can't get one down there either.
The changeup is disgusting. There's stories of Greg Maddux even taking a peek between pitches at the on-deck hitter and watching how he was swinging and what he was thinking about hitting. Was he looking to pull based on his practice swing? Was he looking to go the other way while he's pitching to the hitter in the box?
Not missing the outside corner by much. 1-1. Escobar way off the line at third. Desmond, Rendon looking for something they could turn into a double play, and that's off to the left a bit off the bat of Bogusevic.
You see Steven Strasburg do this from time to time. Cody Ashe doesn't have a stolen base this year, and he's been caught twice, and he's paying a lot of attention to him, and there's really no need to. Down by 2, he's not going anywhere, and if he does, 2 strikes on the hitter.
High heat, snap to first, runner back in. And for Steven Strasburg, another strikeout, number 8.
Some of the best stuff we've seen from Steven Strasburg tonight, all 3 pitches. He's throwing fastballs for balls with 2 strikes. That was by design, climb the ladder.
6 of his last 7 outs, strikeouts.
Not fun to be a hitter tonight if you're in a white uniform.
Carlos Ruiz fouled out to Wilson Ramos first time up. Mid-90s, outer half to get ahead. Outer half for a strike.
Power and command. We talk a lot about the curve and the changeup tonight. They've both been outstanding, but the fastball has been 96, 97, and wherever he wants to put it, that's the key. Attacking with the heater.
And another tardy swing. A base hit and then 3 consecutive strikeouts. Strasburg, a 1-hitter through 5.
Shaking his head about the hit. Top of the 6th inning. You could look at all the numbers you want right there, but the story tonight has been Steven Strasburg. He has been outstanding.
Averaging 8 strikeouts per start his last 6, 9 in 5 innings tonight. And oh yeah, Bryce Harper's on deck here, top 6. Escobar double to right center. Harper drove him in with a base hit. In the 3rd, goes the same way again, not hitting it as deep, and it's cut off and caught by Odubel Herrera.
We'll check out Bryce Harper's night. Sat on a curveball first. Ooh, was right. Sat on a curveball first time up. You heard the click. Home run number 38. Then the base hit up the middle for RBI number 88. So what is Bryce Harper going to do next? Find out right now. .336.
It's funny, every time he does something, about 4 categories go up. When he hit that homer, batting average, homers, RBIs, extra base hits, and runs scored. It's unbelievable what he's doing. And he already has his 46th multi-hit game of the year.
You know what he's doing yesterday during batting practice? Taking ground balls at 3rd, throwing across the infield. And in the shocking news department was really good.
Just don't put any catcher's gear on. Leave that in the past. 2 balls, 1 strike. And with his 2 for 2 tonight, batting average at .336. Buster Posey and Dee Gordon came in tied tonight, .327. That's an off-speed pitch. It just goes fading away. Let's see how tough Mr. Buchanan wants to be here on a 3-1 pitch.
Look at that. Look at those numbers.
And Bryce takes it. It misses. Walk number 112, and Dan has more on Bryce.
Here's our Jeep inside the numbers. This was Bryce Harper's 3rd at bat against Buchanan today. Check out these numbers. Bryce's 3rd time facing a starting pitcher in a game, batting .457 in that 3rd at bat. That's the best in the major leagues. I asked Matt Williams about that earlier today. Matt said that tells me he's thinking. He's thinking along with their process, the opponents, of how they'll try and get him out. He's thinking during the at-bats leading up to his of how a pitcher is attacking, and then he's making the adjustment. It all comes back to the maturation process, Williams says. That all helps him have the type of season he's having.
Breaking ball up and in, kind of a backup throw by Buchanan, worth ducking.
Well, I mean, you saw the 647 on a 3-1 count. That's because there's not a lot of pitches put into play in a 3-1 count, because it's usually ball 4. And when he does put into play in a 3-1 count, he gets hits. That's why you see the ridiculous numbers 3rd time around, 3-1 average, because he's swinging at strikes.
2-0 to Worth.
If you swing at every 3-1 pitch, you're not going to hit 647. Yes.
2-0 changeup. So the green light blazing as you look at the Nats box. Harper in the middle of everything. Solo homer, base hit, walk.
He's swinging. I mean, anything close, he's swinging. You're going to try to hit one off his face on the scoreboard right here. Watch.
Well, he got a changeup, and it's low. Back-to-back walks now for Clint Robinson. Phillies bullpen busy with Luis Garcia. Two runs, 5 hits, and now 2 walks for the Nats offense. Clint Robinson, ground ball to second, fly ball to center.
Bryce looking to steal 3rd.
Robinson right up the middle. Pitcher tried a kick save, and then Galvis turns it into a 6-3 inning-ending double play. The Nats strand their 3rd runner.
Miller Lite. We're going to call this "How Dare You Get a Hit Off Me," because I'm going to strike everybody else out in the inning. So Cody Ashley got a base hit to lead off the 5th, and then it was strike 3, and strike 3. Steven Strasburg with 3 more Ks in the 5th.
And a strike in the 6th. Chase Darno hitting for Buchanan. Oh for 1 as a pinch hitter, just called up by the Phillies. The bat goes to 3rd, the ball goes to short, and Desmond throws him out. How long to bring you the Phillies box score? There's a walk and there's a hit. Now let's move on. The dominance of Strasburg through 5 1/3 right now.
Darnell Sweeney's been tardy on the fastball all night. I'd be surprised if they really show him anything else.
David Buchanan out of the ball game. 2 runs, 5 hits in 5 innings. Didn't give up a hit after the 3rd inning. And Luis Garcia will take over.
Boom. That changeup has been as good as I've seen it. I think it's replacing the curveball from his last start, but the curveball's been good too.
Actually 6 innings for the Phillies right-hander Buchanan tonight. And Strasburg to Sweeney again. He made an offer, stopped his bat.
Changeup was 91.
Two count. Held on to the changeup a little too long.
You know what tonight's about? The mind is clear. He's not worrying about anything hurting.
And the ball to center. Michael A. Taylor. 2 outs.
Nats Plus is back for the 2016 season. Memberships are on sale right now. Enjoy the best seats in the house at the best prices. You get access to private on-field events. Not public, but private, and so much more. Memberships gives you year-round Nationals experience. Visit nationals.com/Nats Plus. Join right now. You know, when you're feeling something here or there, you're thinking about your mechanics, it doesn't allow you to be free and easy and just let it rip. You can tell right now, you're not thinking about anything. You're just being an athlete. Grab the rock and throw it.
And ahead of another batter, Freddie Galvis. Not reachable. 0-2.
One strike away from his 19th career 10-plus strikeout game.
Yeah, he's had 2 this year, including 13 last time out. 12 earlier against the Rockies at home in that game when he had 3 hits. Looks like that ball might have gotten Wilson Ramos in the bare hand.
This is like the kid in Little League that has the beard thrown against all the other kids. It really is. Even though Strasburg doesn't have the beard anymore, you know that kid, the 12-year-old that has the mustache and that's 6 foot tall and 150 pounds, and the rest of the kids.
He's already signed his letter of intent.
Or 4-9, and he's just dominating the Little League game.
1-2 pitch. Tried to come back door with a breaking ball, a little bit low and out there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nats have won 4 out of 7 in this ballpark this year. Two to Galvis, and Freddie hangs in there on these pitches away, not trying to pull anything.
I think if he curves him right here, he's got him. Getting closer to that fastball. Everyone he sees, still late on it, but that curveball down in, he might have him. Or that.
96. Foul tip upstairs, and there's that 3rd double-digit strikeout game of the year. Up in New York, 6-1 Marlins. Here in Philly, 2-0 Nats.
Harry fan tonight, folks. Pretty sure that's a Basset Hound. And that's a Nationals helmet. Wait, no, the truck is telling me that's a Rottweiler. Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Sandy, thanks for the photo.
Garcia and Desmond. Luis Garcia making his 2nd appearance of the series. 2 hops. And the second one, a nice big one for Andres Blanco. 1 out.
And see the arsenal. Fastball 59% of the time. Breaking ball is a slider. The fastball average is 96. Slider 85. 65th appearance for Garcia. And opponent's hitting 281.
There are a couple of relievers in the league that have appeared in 70 games or more. Garcia climbing the list toward the top 10. Kevin Segrist of St. Louis, 71. Jared Hughes of the Pirates, 70. Wilson Ramos 1 for 2. Front door breaking ball's a good one. Counts even.
Drew Storm with 58 leads the Nats.
I remember there was when Toronto was really going well years ago. Tom Hickey was their closer. Dwayne Ward was their setup guy. He would pitch in 80 to 85 games a year. Heavy sink on that. 96, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, with the exchange rate in Canada, that's only like 60 points.
And Ramos launches one to left center. 387 mark, and it's off the glove of Darnell Sweeney. Wilson Ramos pulls into second base with 1 out.
That was pure muscle from Wilson Ramos, because he didn't get that ball in the barrel at all. I mean, he muscled that ball about 386 feet away from home plate. Watch where this hits on his barrel. Not on the sweet spot. You hear the sound. It wasn't that loud click you're used to hearing on home runs. And Sweeney was there in plenty of time. How do you score this? Give it air?
Yep. His second error in the big leagues.
That's a rough error. I mean, he was there in time to make the play, but that's 386 feet away from home plate. And look where he's standing right now, and look how far he had to run.
High chopper, play at third. Ramos is going to stand up and run into a tag. 2 down. Michael A. Taylor to first.
Yeah, ball in front of Wilson Ramos. This is maybe trying to read the speed of the ball, thinking it was hit slow. He's been running all over the place tonight. He's feeling frisky. Not a good decision right there, however.
Hate to lose a base runner in scoring position when you're up by a couple of runs. Maybe Taylor's got a lean going.
Maybe he thought there was 2 outs. So Sweeney well, I'm going to show you how far Darnell Sweeney had to go for that ball. He was actually to his right, more toward the line, and he went to the gap where it says 387. So he had a long way to go for that baseball. I don't know about the error call there. Looked like an easy play in slow motion, didn't it?
Always does.
See, look where he starts and look where he has to go. So it's about 1, 2. I mean, he's taking like 40 steps there. I know he's there in time, but there's a wall. His back is to home plate. I don't know that that's a routine play. I don't think that's a routine play.
And a good take by Steven Strasburg to get the count to 3-2 here. Michael A. Taylor will get a head start at first base.
If you're Garcia, you want that play made. I get that, but that's not a routine play.
Up and in, ball 4. 2 on, 2 out.
American Standard, who's hot, who's not? Drum roll. Anthony Rendon's hot since August 16th. He's hit safely in 22 of 25 games. And you see the September numbers: 345 average, on base percentage bueno, slugging percentage bueno.
Celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star Sales Event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. Rendon 0 for 1 career against Garcia. He got a breaking ball that ended up right in there.
Boy, a base hit right here would be huge for Steven Strasburg and the Nats. Good wheels on second. Tough place to score a runner if you're Bob Henley with the fast grass and the outfield cheating in.
Battle begins now, 0-2. And that is a wild breaking ball. Carlos Ruiz couldn't stop it. Taylor to third, Strasburg to second.
Look at the breaking ball, spiked it in the dirt. Ruiz did everything he could to try to get in front of it, but that was about a 56-footer in the left-handed batter's box, and there was nothing Ruiz could do.
Chance to double the lead with a hit. Rendon's driven in 21, 14 of those in his last 22 games. Offer to the breaking ball, stopped. 2-2.
On a base hit, that wild pitch is big. Even with Michael Taylor's speed and the way this ballpark plays, it's small, it's fast, and it's hard to send runners.
Rendon, did he go? No, says Chris Siegel down at first base. About half the Phillies team on its way to the dugout here.
He's the best check swinger in baseball. I don't know how he does it, but he does it every time. I mean, the wrist, the strength in the hands, the way he can stop his swing on a dime is like nobody else in baseball. He never goes. Every time you look, it's safe. Safe.
And Rendon on a 97 heater can't get to it. Here in Philly, it's time for the Hyundai 7th inning stretch. Nats have led since Bryce Harper's first contact of the night, 2-0 lead, middle of the 7th. there were other three things that contributed to the turnaround of this ball club, but the drafting of Steven Strasburg and Bryce Harper back-to-back years, huge in the growth of the Nats, and they are on full display tonight together in Philly. For Steven, 85 pitches, 61 strikes through 6, and for Bryce, ho-hum 3 more times on base. Three, 4, 5. Herrera, Blanco, and Ashe for the Phils. Steven has struck out Herrera swinging in the first and in the fourth. Mid-90s still here in the 7th inning. And he just goes straight power for strikeout number 11. Mercedes-Benz will try to keep up.
Yeah, 3-pitch see ya, and Herrera's had trouble catching up to the fastball from Steven Strasburg all night. Think about that leg kick. When you're facing a guy throwing upper 90s, you better start that thing early and get it down. When he kicks, you kick. Set it down a little bit earlier than you thought you need to, and that's the only way you catch that fastball out front.
Andres Blanco.
And this is his first career game hitting 4th.
So just when it's heater after heater, he turns over the changeup.
Who has a changeup that moves like that?
And it's number 12. 3 in a row here with 2 outs, 7th inning.
All right, check his birth certificate. This is just total domination, and it's no fault of the Phillies. This is not a slight on Phillies hitters. This is anybody facing Steven Strasburg tonight. Any lineup in baseball is just going to be overmatched because all 3 are overpowering. The changeup is moving more than I've seen it move in the past. The fastball has late zip at 97, is just overpowering. Throwing it right through the target with Wilson Ramos, and then curveball for strike, curveball for ball. I mean, you're helpless as a hitter tonight. And it doesn't matter if it's the Phillies or the 27 Yankees. I mean, that's a major league hitter. I mean,
yep. Uncertain swing on the changeup. Counts even, 1-1.
I mean, locked in, absolutely locked in. Watch him run this back. Starts it off the plate. Little sink to it right on the corner.
And a changeup at 90. Strikes out the side. Equals his season high with 13. How many bullets does Steven Strasburg have left tonight?
That's not fair. fire tonight. Speaking on fire, that's a good segue to Winterfest. Way to go, FP. 12th and 13th, Walter E. Washington Convention Center. Take photos with your favorite Nats player, test your skills in a simulated baseball experience. You can dunk Bob Carpenter in a dunk tank or take a picture with Santa. Visit nationals.com/Nats Winterfest and get your early bird prices right now.
That'll be our polar bear plunge.
You can do that? I just
New
made that up.
event this year.
I just made that. I think you should do it. Yeah. I'll do it if you do it.
I'll do it if you do it and Dan does it and Johnny and Ray and Byron do it.
Okay, peer pressure.
Phil.
Peer pressure always works. I'm in. And the Fanatic is getting a little out of control right now. He needs to tighten it up.
Feeling frisky and with a 2-run deficit. We're going to the top of the 8th. Escobar against left-hander Adam Lowen, who gave up the 11th inning run last night. Actually, it was charged to Garcia, who gave up a hit and a walk. Responsible for that run. He got the loss. Lowen came in, finished off the inning.
Trouble throwing strikes last night. Might have got a little gift there on a 2-0 pitch. It looked low.
And it's strike 2 to Yunel Escobar. 1 for 3 tonight. He has tried to shoot the gap twice to right center. It worked in the 3rd. Harper drove him in. And then in the 6th, Herrera ran his drive down.
Well, let's see where it got him. Inside of his stride foot, right where the pad wasn't.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And that's way outside. Count goes full.
Good take, just missed.
.31-year-old Adam Lowen. And that's Lowen away. Escobar draws the base on balls. And Bryce Harper coming in.
Well, Bryce has donated a lot of money through Lexus. $250 to the Children's National Health System for every home run a Nats player hits this season. So keep them coming. 2 more for 40. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
That's $9,500 off Bryce Harper's home runs. And by the way, a little history on Bryce. Number 38 ties the second highest total ever for the Nats. Adam Dunn hit 38 in 09 and 38 in 2010. All-time record, of course, Alfonso Soriano's 46 in the 40-40 season of 06.
I'm not feeling real comfy if I'm Bryce right now.
Lowen a little all over the place.
Yeah.
Here.
And he's tall and lanky, and it probably feels like he's standing right in front of you. About 40 feet away.
Outside edge gets the call. It's 1-1.
Well, there's been a lot of negative talk around the ball club all year. This guy's not doing this guy's not doing this, he's doing that. I mean, the one thing I'm taking away from this season is watching Bryce Harper play on a daily basis, and for the first time ever getting to watch an MVP play every day.
Harper to left. Sweeney back, tracking it, and gone. That's number 39, and Harper stands alone with the second highest home run total ever by a National. And the Nats lead 4-0. He has all 4 batted in. RBI total shoots up to 90.
Well, partner, you called it at the beginning of this series. He might leave here with 40. And he is darn near there. And for him to hang in off a funky left-hander that really doesn't know where the ball is going, and to stay in there and go the other way and show that display of pop, unbelievable once again for Bryce Harper. It's been the Harper-Strasburg show here tonight. Both players on top of their game.
Walk and a blast, and here's Jason Worth, and a strike to him. 39 home runs and 90 RBIs.
So did he just take over the lead? Arenado with 38, Bryce Harper with 39. And look at him stay in there and just barrel up another one. 3 for 3, 2 home runs, 38-39, RBI number 90.
Into the flowers.
I mean, he's 10 away from 40 and 100. Little hug for the skipper.
Perfect night, 3 for 3. A walk, 4 RBIs. And that's way inside to Jason Worth. Missed him.
Seems like pitchers are hating Jason Worth's toes lately. It's like the third night in a row he's had to do the dance. Matt Williams had 43 home runs in 1994, so he's Bryce Harper chasing the skipper.
Yeah, that was the year of the lockout when the season ended in the middle of August.
Yeah.
And the Montreal Expos were having one of their best seasons ever on their way to the playoffs.
They were 30 over 500.
Three-two to Worth, nobody out. The Expos had won 20 of 23 that year. On August 12th, when there was no more baseball. 72 and 40. 3-2 pitch. And Worth launches a foul ball facing of the third deck.
Wow. That was a far strike.
A couple of bulbs missing, maybe.
He got the quick bat working. Watch this. You can't get in there.
Three-two, and Worth a broken bat foul ball.
I mean, look how far this one goes. Do we have this on StatCast? Because I should figure out a way to get it. This is third deck off the score.
Pitch number 9 coming here. Long inning for the lefty Lowen. And he gets Jason Worth on a breaking ball in the dirt. And the Philly fans finally have something to cheer about tonight. Bob McClure to the mound with Clint Robinson coming up.
Boy, I am really grinding right now to figure out what this one's about. I have none clue.
Right-hander Colton Murray for the Phils. Desmond and Ramos, two righties after this. Glenn Robinson, a rare 0 for 3 tonight. Came in 5 for his last 11, couple of RBIs, 2 walks in 3 games. Seldom plays without at least getting aboard. Big sweeping breaking ball. He went around.
He didn't think so. You're facing low, and it just seems like a wild ride. Whether you're Carlos Ruiz behind the plate or the hitter, he just everywhere. Painting one, throwing one to the backstop. Makes that home run by Harper even more impressive. You just
got a little wild thing going.
Yeah, he doesn't know where it's going, and that's not a real comfortable feeling as a hitter.
When he pitched against Arizona August 10th, his first big league pitching appearance in more than 7 years. Robinson, a chopper to the right side, and it's foul. Check in on all the baseball going on. Masson, text the word Nationals to 29292. Team alerts and chances to win exclusive prizes, including meet and greets with your favorite players. Again, that's Nationals to 29292.
Maybe a meet and greet with Masson, Dan.
It's a big price for the end of the season.
Oh, wow.
Didn't want to give that away just yet, but go ahead.
Carlos Ruiz forgot how many
outs. And Carlos Ruiz was headed for the dugout after 2 outs. Speaking of a meet and greet artist, here he is.
Nobody would show up for that one, guys. Let's not advertise that. Guys, Adam Loewen is an interesting story. People in the Mid-Atlantic and Maryland area might remember his name. He was an Orioles first-round draft pick as a pitcher back in 2002. Then due to multiple injuries, ended up having to become a position player. He was a really good hitter before being drafted. Made the big leagues as a hitter as well with the Blue Jays. Now he's back. He kind of didn't really stick as a hitter. Tried to come back again as a pitcher. Has made it back to the big leagues as a pitcher. 2 different stints as a pitcher. 1 as a position player in the big leagues for Adam Loewen, who departs here in the 8th inning with the Nats up by 4.
The right-hander Murray on the way. Nats on top by 4. Produced to retransmit it. By authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. All Harper, all Strasburg, all Nats here in Philly. Ian Desmond will face the new pitcher, right-hander, 25 years of age, Colton Murray.
Fastball, curveball, two-pitch guy. Fastball's 94, and the curveball, you just saw it, is averaging 80 miles an hour.
13th rounder 4 years ago out of the University of Kansas. Oh, 2. Ian Desmond 0 for 3 tonight. 3 for his last 26. Had a base hit his last time up in the 10th inning last night. And a 1-2 with 2 outs. Base is empty. Didn't bite. Top of the 7th now at New York. Marlins 7, Mets 1.
Chomping at the bit, wants to get back out there.
He's been sitting in that dugout for a while. 95 pitches for Steven. And Desmond will hit one well out of play. And the breaking ball, he's able to tap it foul. And a check swing, he got it. So a walk to Escobar, and then Bryce Harper against a lefty who was all over the place. He hits one all over the place. One to left center, one to left for nothing. Nats. Evening for him. His debut June of 2010 on the 8th against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he was unbelievable that night. Breaking ball, fastball, throwing it up near 100. Struck out 14 Pirates that night. It remains his career high, and that number could be matched or surpassed in the 8th inning of this one 5 years later.
Well, here we go.
Some will tell you that was the first time we had a playoff atmosphere at Nationals Park. Darren Ruff, 0 for 2, fly ball strikeout. Strasburg starts this 8th inning with 95 pitches, 70 strikes. 6th time this year he goes at least 7. And with an out here, that matches his longest start of the year, 7 1/3.
So Steven Strasburg with back-to-back 13 strikeout games. The other guy to do that in franchise history, some guy named Pedro Martinez did it in 1997, the year he won the Cy Young. He did it twice that year, June 8th, June 14th, August 20th, and August 25th. And Steven Strasburg joins that club.
And during the streak, that graphic we just showed you, he's averaging 14 strikeouts per 9 innings. Nasty changeup. Hitter simply looking to make contact and not possible on that.
That was pitch number 100. And there hasn't been too many high stress innings for Strasburg tonight. He's been on cruise control.
73% on the strike zone. And there is number 14. Ties the career high. Next up, Carlos Ruiz.
As devastating as the curveball was last start against the Mets, the changeup has been every bit of that and more tonight here against the Phillies. We said last time that's the best curveball we've seen Steven have. I think tonight's the best changeup we've seen him have. Not to mention 96, 97, wherever he wants it. Like that.
Right on the outside edge. Carlos Ruiz, a foul ball to the catcher. Strikeout victim number 9 back in the 5th. 0-2. And Ruiz able to fight it off on a pitch that really jammed him. So Strasburg doesn't get 15 in the 8th. Will he have a chance to do it in the 9th?
I vote yes. strikeouts. That ties a career high. Looks like his night might be over. We'll keep you posted on that. We saw some handshakes in the dugout. Bryce Harper with a couple taters tonight. Going double-double, first time up. Home run number 38. That allows you single. A walk. And then home run number 39 and RBIs number 89 and 90. So on base 4 times tonight. On base percentage going up, home runs going up. And he is now the National League leader in home runs with 39. And he also leads in batting average.
Nolan Arenado plays for the Rockies at Dodger Stadium later tonight. There's the right-hander Blake Trinan getting ready for the bottom of the 9th. Ramos, Taylor, and then a pinch hitter. Colton Murray stays in the game after striking out Ian Desmond. Ramos 1 for 3 with a single and an almost double in the left center gap. Called an error on the left fielder Sweeney.
It could be changed tomorrow.
2-0.
That lead to any earned runs?
No runs scored in that inning.
I might change that.
So no harm done. Big rip by Ramos on a 2-0 pitch.
Wilson looking very hitterish, very handsy. See Matt Dendecker ready to rock. Secret weapon. Just like how he's kind of on his legs, and it looks like he's really using those big paws of his and not his body. When he takes his body out of his swing and is real handsy, that's when he's at his best.
Slider up, 87, couldn't get it. 2-2.
Still a good swing.
Right in there to strike him out. 1 out, top of the 9th. Taylor and Dendecker, the next 2. Nationals baseball on Masson, brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond.
From the Rocky stairs, looking back at the city.
Yeah, right down the beautiful parkway there to City Hall. William Penn presiding over the city tonight. Michael A. Taylor 1 for 3, base hit back in the 2nd. Matt Dendecker next. And this one high in the air left center for Herrera. Little room to spare, 2 outs. Byron Kerr and Ray Knight are in the studio tonight. We invite you to tune into the Nats Extra postgame show presented by W.B. Mason. Who but W.B. Mason? Strasburg officially finished now as Matt Dendecker is the pinch hitter, 9th inning. That ball
just
bounced out in front of home plate about as far as you'll ever see one.
Yep, just a hair low.
I mean, he had the catcher ducking on that when it was bouncing up so much.
Bottom of the zone for sure. Steven Strasburg, just everything clicking tonight.
105 pitches, 77 strikes.
Bryce Harper, everything clicking tonight. See McCaddy trying to reinforce what he did right tonight with his mechanics right there. That was a great shot of the 2 talking.
Keeping the ball down, swing and a miss.
I mean, he was 1 hit away and one walk away from being perfect. I don't know that I've ever seen him better. I didn't see his first outing, but I can't imagine it was much more dominant than what he did tonight. It seems to me, just watching his first ever major league start, is more about the power, just going right at guys with 100. Tonight he had all three working, all three in the zone, all three out of the zone when he wanted to. Great tempo. He worked quick. Fastball had jump.
And Den Decker goes way high, way deep, and way foul.
I mean, a base hit between first and second off the bat of Cody Ashe was the only hit tonight. And a walk in the first inning from Freddie Galvis was the other base runner. And if he goes to the ninth, it would have been right up there maybe with the 16 strikeout performance that we saw in Milwaukee for Max Scherzer.
No swing. Den Decker to first base with 2 outs. We'll see with Rendon in there. The Nats want to do anything with a very speedy runner at first base. Trying to get out of slam range here. The Nats on top by 4. Low and away.
Okay, well, that's a good time to steal if you're Matt Den Decker. 4-0 lead. You want to take the grand slam. One swing ties it up away from the Phillies, and that 5th run is a huge one. And looks like Murray's giving him a chance with that leg kick. Let's see what Den Decker's up to.
Murray firing the ball over there. Up and away. Ruiz firing the ball over there. The Phillies doing whatever they can to end this inning and getting Matt Den Decker.
Hustling back for his life. You see how he went to the back side of the base, that back corner far away from the tag? Gives you an extra click.
Low and away. Anthony Rendon will take the 3-0 right in there. This man has had virtually no offers lately. Trying to turn this into a 1-for-5. Big hopper to short, and Den Decker beat it. He's going to buy Anthony Rendon a base hit right there with 2 outs in the 9th inning.
You're right.
Den Decker, great jump.
Nice reverse jinx. Good call by you. Anthony Rendon turning an 0-for-4 into 1-for-5. That's a nice salvage after getting 4 hits last night with the Tater. Good play by Freddie Galvis. Jump throw, but Den Decker with a good secondary lead. That's the key to watch Den Decker at the top of the screen. 2 long, low shuffles, gaining ground, and then takes off on contact. His speed and hustle just bought Anthony Rendon a base hit, because there's no way Freddie Galvis could have thrown out Rendon at first. That's how you score that. And Rendon going to buy Den Decker. I'll stick with the steak just because it's a family show.
Buy him lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, lunch.
Escobar 1 for 3, a double, a walk, 2 runs scored. And he hits one right to the shortstop, Galvis. That will end the inning. The Nats strand 7 runners tonight. And now it's up to Blake Trinan to give the Nats a series win, and 2 in a row here. Go back and watch. 14 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit, 105 pitches, 77 strikes, and now with a 4-run lead, Blake Trinan. Here's the only base hit.
It was a curveball out over the plate. That's it. We were thinking no-hitter after 4. He just had no-hit stuff. He had perfect game stuff. As you watch some of the 14 strikeouts, a couple of fastballs, nasty changeup right there. That was number 14 at the end, and a handshake from the skipper. And everybody's smiling in the Nats dugout. 105 pitches for Strasburg, 77 strikes. Smile, everybody. That's one of the best outings you'll ever see.
He retired 12 of the first 13. Then after the hit, he retired the next 12 Philadelphia hitters. Blake Trinan had a great 8th inning here last night. 9 pitches, 6 strikes. He got Ruff, Sweeney, and Ashe on 3 ground balls. Nats trying to win their 3rd in a row. And meanwhile, top of the 8th in New York, Marlins 7, Mets 1. Jeff Francoeur against Blake Trinan.
Told Steve McCaddy before the game today during batting practice, I said, hey, win them all, win out and see what happens. He said, I'm in, I like it. Win 20 in a row. Stranger things, well, no. I don't think anything that strange has happened, but you never know.
Front door breaking ball is a strike.
It'd definitely be new.
Look what Colorado did in 07. I think they won every day the month of September. Little pop fly takes a little funny hop on Anthony Rendon. With the bare hand, not a problem. Gio goes for the Nats tomorrow night. He'll be trying to win his 11th and his career against the Phillies 7-5 with a 3.02 ERA in 14 starts. Adam Morgan, 5-6 with a 460. The 25-year-old lefty has made 14 career starts. 6:30 Nats Extra on Masson 2 tomorrow. Blake Trinan with a nasty moving fastball at 995. Well, he's got some great movement on that heater tonight. Ian Desmond for the second out. Everybody on the staff, well, all two of them in this game, dealing tonight. Follow up an arm like Strasburg's with one like Blake Trinan. Swing and a foul tip, and it's 1-1 here in the ninth. In the air to left, Jason Worth. And the Nats take care of business for the second straight night here in Philadelphia. Their 11th shutout of the year. They've been shut out 10 times. So they break that little tie, and they take care of business 4-0 in game 2. 4-7-0, 0-1-1 Philadelphia.
Well, you saw an MVP tonight in Bryce Harper, and if Steven Strasburg can come anywhere near replicating what he did here on a consistent basis, you're going to see a future Cy Young Award winner, because that was as good as it get, folks.
Nats win it 4-0 for FP and Dan. Bob Carpenter, they have won the series. Now tomorrow night behind Gio, the Nats will go for the sweep. So join us tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Nats Extra pregame. This has been a presentation of Masson. Stay tuned now. Byron and Ray are in the studio tonight with a great story of offense and pitching to tell. And from Philadelphia, see you later.